Today's selection of tiny bottles from Grandma's collection is going to be a little bit different. Hello and welcome to My Tiny Bottles, the project where I'm exploring my grandmother's legacy of miniature liquor bottles, one tiny bottle at a time. Today I should probably be saying one medium-sized bottle at a time, because today's selection of tiny bottles from Grandma's collection is going to be a little bit different. So mostly Grandma had these minis that she put up in spice racks on the walls around the bar area in her cottage in Port Stanley, Ontario. But as we were kind of reorganizing the bottles for my recent move, we discovered that there were some bigger bottles. And I thought a lot about, like, what do I do with these? Or I think it's like flask size, right? That 200 ml size. I don't know what they are, but I could see that they were in the box and I wasn't really sure what to do with them. But one of the things about that bar area at Grandma's is that it was also a working bar, right? There were bottles there that people could go and use to make a drink. And so the fact that these bottles are still here says to me that Grandma considered them in her collection, even though they weren't as tiny as the rest of the minis. So this is going to be a selection of all of those. The little sneak peek I got at them from the top of the box was that they all had tack strips. So that makes me very excited because those are some of the most interesting bottles. So let's dive in, see what we have. They're so big, this box is really heavy. Okay. Well, this makes up for that really sad, pathetic plastic bottle of Jim Beam. This is Jim Beam White Label Bourbon. Okay, now this is interesting because it's got a faux tack strip, not an actual tack strip. So now I really kind of have no idea when this one came from. But it is nice and full and will, I think, be a much tastier thing to sample than the last one. Okay. Number one down. Big bottle number two, Jack Daniels. Okay, so this is all the bourbon and bourbon-related things that Grandma didn't want to drink. Maybe that's really the true story here. I've already had one bottle of Jack Daniels, a little tiny one that I tasted with Southern Teague. And so here is another one. And again, this is 90 proof. There's been a bunch of changes to Jack Daniel's proof through the years. So I probably will be able to use that as a tip-off. A little bit of evaporation, but nice looking bottle. All right. Okay. Bottle number three. I thought these might all be whiskey. Am I correct? Oh, no, it's a brandy. Looks like a whiskey. Never even heard of Phillips. Phillips 5-star rare blend California brandy. All right, well, bust out your tools for making Wisconsin old fashions. This one did not come from Wisconsin, but it was bottled in Minneapolis, Minnesota, so pretty close. Enjoy in moderation. I think I will. This one has a legit tack strip on it, but I don't have my tack strip math memorized, so I can't tell you right off the bat when this one comes from. All right, number four. Oh, another bourbon. Okay, so this is Rebel Yell, 90 proof. Cool. These look really old. I don't know if they really are really old. These are Department of ATF, which I think actually means they're not as old. But it's also got an extra tap strip, a Tennessee, so a little state tax strip here. $2.78. Can you imagine you could buy good old Rebel Yell for $2.78? All right. Another bourbon. Well, where are my bourbon fans? Let me know. If you want to taste a bottle with me, this is the time. Okay, and last but not least, I'm without words. Paddle your own canoe, I believe is the motto of this 105 proof Wild Spirit liqueur. Drink of the Frontier, a North Country specialty. Which country? Your guess is as good as mine. Let me read down farther. Produced and bottled by Worldwide Distillers Co., Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I guess this country, the United States. 105 proof, still labeled drink in moderation. None of these, this one does have a government warning label. I'm not sure any of the others do, so that's a good dating tip-off. Centuries ago, when the first pioneers came to the North Country of America, they had a strong sense of courage and freedom. At the end of the day, they would sit around a campfire. They had a special recipe of strong spirits, natural wild herbs, and a touch of fire-brewed cocoa. After a couple drinks, they would share their adventures of the day. Now that is some quintessential marketing origin story nonsense. Okay, this might actually be the most exciting thing in here. I have no idea. That'll be a fun one. Congratulations to all these producers for sealing their bottles very nicely. No massive evaporation here, so these will be fun to taste. All right, so if you want to find out what the wild spirit liqueur is all about, well, you better go hit subscribe. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook and at Blue Sky. I'm at TammyLC on Blue Sky and at My Tiny Bottles on Facebook and Instagram. You can head over to my website. Eventually, some nice close-up pictures of these bottles will appear there, so you can take a look and see what I have been exploring. You can follow me on Patreon and reach out. Leave a comment, leave a like or a share. I'd love to hear from you. Cheers.